What's up, guys? So I appreciate you guys taking the time to try to RSVP and the two different methods that we've discovered through this process. The Google Docs document, just trying to streamline things, seems to be a little bit cumbersome for everybody, which I'm not mad about. I'm trying to find what works best for all of us. And I actually prefer to keep everything on the Band app as best as possible. So I went back and essentially changed everything in all the events that we've got posted through the summer into RSVP join or not join type deals. It just seemed to be, as I'm talking to guys, that they were able to figure things out and navigate through that a little easier. I know that guys like Cody, I think Lee, they both posted in the comment section for the dates that they were coming to, like the mini camp, for example. I'm there. I know Barry did the same thing. I'm there because the RSVP option wasn't there. I kept the RSVP option out just because I get a notification when they come through, and the kids sometimes pop it in, pop it out, and I didn't necessarily want to have confusion between the kids and the coaches trying to figure out who was in there and who wasn't. But trust me, it's not a problem for me at all. Like I said, want to come up with a way in which we can adequately communicate things and signing up for times in which we can work this summer with the ease that you guys need, we all need. And if we can do it on the Band app, like, I'm all for it, because that kind of consolidates where all of our information is coming from. So I'm going to go through and show you guys what this looks like. Now, mind you, on the computer, it's a little different than the actual app on the phone. The app on the phone gives you the icons on the bottom. On the computer, it's not really icons. It's actually the words. So you can see the Band apps that I have. Some of you guys will be familiar with them. Obviously, we should all have the coaches and staff app. That's going to have a group chat in there that's only going to be for the coaches. So you won't see that necessarily in the Calvert Cavaliers app, but it's there. You may have Calvert Strength Performance if you've logged into that or followed that. And of course, you should have a position group. So yours won't look like this necessarily. I'm just happen to be in everybody's position group just to help out, since I help create them. So let's go ahead and coaches staff band. So here we are. This pretty much should be what you guys are seeing. And if you're seeing it on your computer, this will be a way layout. Now, of course, at the top here, this is the things that you would see. Now, on yours, it's going to have at the bottom, it's going to have the first thing is a little icon, which is the chat function. The second one, I believe, is the event calendar. It looks like a square. On the bottom, the chat function, it's going to have a picture function where you can load a picture. Looks like a little mountain scene. Then it's the event calendar, and then it's a file folder, and then it's going to have two icons of a person, two people, which is your members, and then it's got the settings. That settings thing is important at the bottom. You can find it here on yours as well, on your own, on a computer. And that settings is where you guys can go in and create your notices so you get notifications, because some people had their notifications turned off and didn't even know they were getting messages in the group chat. All right. So over here to the right, you can see the group chat. This is where I try to like send information on a daily, where I can let like a particular coach know something specifically. So you can see here, I've got Coach Cam where I communicate with him. And then down here with Coach Nate, and then I've got separate groups set up, like an offensive staff group, which would be a chat with just offensive coaches that the defense coach didn't know about. I created that chat. You guys could do the same thing. But that's what that is. Up here is the upcoming events, as you guys can see, and I'll go to the event calendar in a minute. Down here's the files and then the images, which is pretty much the things you saw on the bottom of your app. All right, so if I'm going to post something, hit post. And then you're going to get this screen up here, and then you can put things in. This post goes to your centralized feed. So when you open your Band app and you hit Calvert Coaches, the posts are what's going to show up in the middle and what's going to be first and foremost. So that's what this is. The chats are going to be at the bottom. They're not going to be open first and foremost. You have to click on the chat. And generally, like I said, if you set your notifications on, you'll be notified when someone posts in the chat. Okay? That's important. I try not to do all the posts as far as like updates on things in the post. I try to do it in the chat, because if you put something in here, and I know it's kind of weird because it does the same thing in the chat, like then what happens, we can lose something that's been posted because, it gets clouded with all the comments and stuff like that. So here's the event calendar. I want to go to. So I hit the event. And again, it's not so hard to navigate. I know Barry and I looked at it on his phone last night. It's not so hard to navigate. It may not be as large, but on a computer, you can see that like this is the month of May. And so it's going to have everything listed down here in May. And every single one of these things we can RSVP on now. All right, so men, to RSVP, you can't do it in the Calvert coaches staff because that's not where the calendar originated from. Now you can see the calendar, of course, in your coaches, Calvert coaches and staff, but you can't necessarily RSVP. So if I clicked on events here, and I clicked on any one of these events, which are there showing up, and let's just say I clicked on the CSP training for today, testing for today. The RSVP is not there. It's in the original band, which is Calvert football. Not a big deal. Trust me, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to back out of this, and I'm going to go to my band, and I'm going to go to the original band where the calendar starts, and that's Calvert Cavaliers football. So I click on here, and now it's the same picture, same image, except there's a different feed here. You know, obviously this is the stuff that I share on Calvert, the big football page, because this goes out to the parents, this goes out to the kids. They see all this stuff. You guys can see it too if you're on Calvert Cavaliers football page, or if you're actually using the feed function. If you have the feed function on, you click on that, it's going to give you all the feed of everything that's coming through on your band. So you're going to see all the stuff that's coming through. All right, let's go back to the band. So here is your actual calendar, and I'm going to go to events again. And right here, again, Calvert Football Minicamp for today. All right, you can see these kids that have joined. All right, I've got one that declined. I'm going to go ahead and RSVP myself. There's the join, and now I'm in. Coach Rick Sneed's in there. All right, so that's how simple it is. You can do that for each event, and we'll be able to rock and roll and be able to get a good understanding of who it is. You know, Derek understands not going to be there, so I appreciate him putting decline for the event. Lets us know he's not going to be there. I'll have to get the kids accustomed to doing that, but I think first and foremost, we need to set the tone and do it as coaches. So that's how you do things in the actual band. Let me know if you have any questions, but I think this would be the best way for us to communicate what our availability is through the summer training program. You also see updates to the calendar if we add something or take something away by looking at that, and we don't have to go back to the Google document. So I appreciate you guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.